Now, we have a lot of domestic issues, and for an analysis of the situation, we're joined by Piotr Drabik, a political reporter from Fact. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
So good to see you again, Piotr. It's only a couple of days ago that we last met. Now, could you lay out, I mean, Marek did a very good job of, the comprehensive picture, but basically these, let's start with Romanowski. He's being accused of misappropriating funds, and Parliament has now taken away his immunity. Is that correct?
Yes, is it correct? Today, the lower chamber of Polish Parliament decide about the takeoff of the immunity from the MP Marcin Romanowski. What is really interesting that before this justice found affair, most of the Poles don't know who is Marcin Romanowski. He was like vice minister of the justice, and he was the one of the politicians of the serving in Poland, but really he wasn't stay in the first line of the main leaders of the right parties in Poland, and now he is described as a leader of the current minister of justice. Adam Bodnar say he was a leader of the crime gang, which was responsible about the sharing this millions, hundreds of zloty to the organization related with the Sovereign in Poland, Law and Justice, and other rights organizations. We see that this affair, this political scandal, is really reflecting to the right side of the political scene. According to the last opinion poll by Radio LMF-FM and Dziennik Gazeta Prawna newspaper, showing that around 45% of the Poles believing that the Serving Poland and Zbigniew Ziobro, the still leader of the Serving Poland, is responsibility about this political scandal. Jarosław Kaczyński, he is not accusing so much like Serving Poland, so it's showing how is this affair is a big problem from the right side of the political scene, and we see that the government coalition led by Donald Tusk will do everything to showing to the public opinion the new information about the scandal. We see that the Polish Sejm in the next weeks will decide to take off another immunity from the different MPs also related with this political scandal.
Understood. And now I will come back to Marcin Romanowski in just a second, but you mentioned the previous Justice Minister, Mr. Ziobro. Why are these charges not being laid against him also?
As we know, Zbigniew Ziobro now fighting with very hard cancer. He is very sick and he not showing to the public opinion. In the recent days, he was invited to the investigative community commission in the Polish parliament to take some statement about the previous affairs, different political scandals from the Law and Justice government. I mean about the visa scandals, about the different issues, and he was not available to do it. So we see that how this ill is serious, but at the same time, Zbigniew Ziobro still giving the interviews to the press, to the outlets related with the right side of the political scene when attacking the Donald Tusk and different politicians from the government coalition. And as we know, he is out of the decision about what's happening in the Serving Poland, but at the same time, he needs to know what's happening in the Ministry of Justice when he was a minister. Of course, Marcin Romanowski, he was one of the deputy. And as we know, he, of course, needs to ask these questions. What he know about the Justice Fund affair and why he trying to hiding all of this political scandal. Because as we know, before the December 2023, Polish prosecutor office, judges, all of the justice system did nothing with this case. And now that the current Ministry of Justice and the different institution trying to investigate that, and of course what we see now, it's only the beginning. Because we, of course, say about the millions of hundreds of zloty and so on, but we see that the very clear direct link between the giving the money to the organization, connecting with the regions, what we saw in the last minutes in the infographics, to the regions when the very prominent right politicians trying to fight in election for the next MP's term, and also about the better position on political scene.
All right. I would like to go back in and talk about the political rhetoric and media narrative that you just mentioned earlier. We do know that, like you mentioned, just a few days ago before this whole thing blew up, this individual, Romanowski, is relatively unknown to the general public, and now he's being described as some sort of corruption crime, a leader of some corruption crime ring. And do you think it's due to him being able to stay under the radar and everything is being exposed right now? Or is there an attempt at playing it up to score some political points?
We need to underline that the most of the people who was involved in this political scandal think that if law and justice keep the power and sovereignty, Poland also take part in the government, nothing was changed. It's like all of this very emotional and controversial thing, like transferring money from the Polish public budget, not to the victims of the crimes, not to the organization which was responsible to provide help to them, but to the people who was related with the law and justice of any Poland. It's still rolling. So we see now that the most of these people are really surprised that the prosecutor office starting, they investigated about it. We see that on the face of the Marcin Romanowski. We see he was really surprised about the accusation. Dariusz Matecki, Zbigniew Ziobro, Michał Wójcik, Mr. Warchoł, also former deputy Ministry of Justice. Most of these people are really surprised that how this political scandal big is. And also, we need to know that why we know so far about this case, because some of the people who was involved in that, like Mr. Mraz, he was like one of the officials. He was responsible about the, let's say, administration staff in the Justice Fund. He said to the public how all of this stuff going about the transferring. For example, case of Ksiądz Olszewski, he know about this few, as I remember, 100 millions of zloty which he take from the Ministry of Justice. He know about this money few years, like 2 or 3 years before the decision. So we see that the people related with the survey in Poland trying to build some kind of background to the rise of his activity, his position in the right side of the political scene. And this is, of course, problem from the Mr. Romanowski and the different people related with that. And we need to understand that this case, of course, will be lowering in the next month for sure.
Well, it certainly looks as though it will. But in the last couple of minutes that we have left, just a very quick question, because Mr. Romanowski is not the only one whose immunity has been removed. There's Mariusz Błaszczak, the previous defense minister, who's facing the same situation, and he's facing a criminal charge of defamation brought by a Polish general. The risk is that actually removing immunity could set a precedent for when the governments, maybe are exchanged at the next or the following election, don't you think?
So we see that the President Duda say most of these people which lose the immunity after the vote in the parliament, say most of these people are innocent. Most of these people are the victim of the political renovate from the Donald Tusk. But we see that this is like very real and really hard proof of their illegal activities and something against that the Polish state, which
Yeah.
underlined every time the politician from the government coalition.
Thank you very much indeed for that, Piotr, and we look forward to seeing you again shortly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.